Hey guys, it's Dave, and quite a different look for those of you who are regulars here. This is the wall of plants that I face when I sit in my living room. So you're seeing a little bit of my plant collection right here. I've had many people ask for a tour, and no. I hate plant tour videos, so I am certainly not going to make one. But I am going to do my favorite thing, and that is talk about plants in flower. Nothing better. And I would say, looking around, 95% of my plants flower. It's a higher percentage than that, I bet. I have very few plants that at least don't have the potential to flower. I had a couple of Hoya that they're hanging by a thread in this household, but that's for a different video. Today, just some gorgeous plants, some gorgeous flowers. Stick with me. I think what I'll do is start with a banger, and my goal is to break the flower spike, so I have to wait until next year to see this one again. This is a beauty. This is the Buhlera Marfitsch Howard's Dream. And there is the first flower it put on, and then my friends, of course they go back and forth, so you will see some of the back sides here. And then it's not all yet flowered. We still have some buds down here. But this is quite a long spike here. And what I like to do is, with all of my orchids, where it's remotely practical, support it a little bit and then just let it do what it does. Such a nice display, so very beautiful. And I know that my joke about purple being the best color is old, but look how pretty that is. And yes, I picked this out because it is purple and dramatic, very long-lasting flowers, blooms a couple times a year, no fragrance, but the flowers last a very long time. So pros and cons, but mostly pros. All right, this next one is a very popular orchid. You will see why. Its inflorescence lasts for years and years and years, and it blooms sequentially on that, meaning don't ever cut the spike on this one. It is just going to keep putting off a flower. And I'm proud to say I have another flower spike growing, so I'll have two of these flowers eventually. But this is my Psychopsis. And let me get that framed up nicely. Well, let's just come in close here. And look at that. Oh, it is such an interesting flower. And I know it's shaking because it's on a good 2-foot long flower spike, the inflorescence I was talking about. But that is really, there we go, that is really something. It is thought that this is to look like a predator to wasps. They attack this flower, and that's how this is pollinated. So some flowers have a very obvious allure to them to bring that moth in or whatever's the pollinator. That's what I would call making sweet, sweet love compared to the violence of this one. So an interesting story. The colors are so vibrant and beautiful. This is perhaps the 6th flower on this since I got my first one in spring. I am growing this in a pretty typical orchid mix. These have the reputation of having very sensitive roots. Not everybody, from what I've seen online, experiences that. When I pulled this out of the cache pot, I pulled the plant up one time. This pot here kind of created a seal with the cache pot, and I pulled the plant out with a bunch of the bark. And that's like trying to put a broken slinky back in a container. It's done, and it has to be repotted. Well, let me try to get my light back on. That was unfortunate. Well, still looks pretty good in natural light. I bought a nice name brand light to avoid these problems, and it is the second near light that has crapped out on me. So I have not gotten my money's worth out of this brand so far. Good customer service though. But anyway, not your problem. My Psychopsis. I was saying that they have the reputation of having very sensitive roots. And when I pulled it out of the pot, I had to basically do the best I could to leave what was in there, but I had to pour some out of the side. So in other words, holding this in while I pulled some out so that I could sink the plant back in a little bit and then fill in around it. And the roots did not appreciate it, and they died back starting, well, let's call it immediately. So what I did to try to increase the humidity is put a bit of sphagnum moss around that top there. And I'm happy to say that that worked. Will we be able to see this? Thank goodness for self-adjusting cameras. Really well. Look at those really interesting leaves. It's a beautiful, beautiful plant. But of course, we're here for the really interesting flower. I won't show you the extra flower spike that's coming on because I will find a way to snap this, and that would be a bad deal. At any rate, sometimes you just have to play the hand you're dealt. Is that the phrase? I don't know. I don't play games. I'm not a gambler, but and improvise. You know, try to do something that you know works with other plants and hope for the best. And yeah, this is one that had a kind of a modest first flower and then better and better flowers. And now this one is the first flower since I did this. It took quite a little while before it decided to flower again. And it's a good one. It's not its best one, but the color is excellent. So I'm really happy with the direction of this flower. I was just thinking that starting about 1.5 years ago, I started giving gentle hints, well, more like warnings to the Hoya heads that I own more orchids than you think I do, and I am going to start showing more orchids than you think I should. And I have followed through on that threat. So I would also say that my only responsibility on this channel is to be honest about how I grow things. I am just here to share something I'm very passionate about, and orchids are just one of those things. It's not the only thing, neither are Hoyas. I could get on here and talk about classical music for 7 days straight, but no one's going to show up for that one. All right, getting serious here. I have a lot of pretty fancy orchids that you've not seen on the channel yet. Some you have, but I still love the ones that bring almost all of us in. This right here is a Lowe's Phalaenopsis, and it shows up lighter. What color is that? Deep, deep maroon, almost purple, but really deep maroon in real life. Like I said, this is an automatic camera, and I have no desire to learn how to do manual settings to make this look like it does in real life. And I have photographed it. It always comes out too light. And I suppose that I could play with the adjustments and try to make it a little darker, but you get the idea. This was less than $10. This is a second blooming on this one. And I like that, you know, this spike is just self-supporting and it gives just a little bit of that cascade. It's beautiful. It sits to the right, the shelves that were to my left, your right before the light crapped out. And it adds this beautiful pop of color. It's kind of backlit. It is just lovely. It's cheap. And those flowers last for months and months and months. This will be way into next year. This will last, it's not even open all the way yet. This will last into next spring. And at some point I'll just cut the spike so that it has a chance to regenerate and put on a new spike for next year. I love this plant. But I love this one more because this $14.99 Trader Joe's Phalaenopsis, kind of a mid-size one, as opposed to the mini I just showed you, is fragrant. It is a bit odd. This is a rebloom for me as well. It's a bit odd in that it doesn't have any fragrance when the flowers come out, and for a while, and then after 3 or 4 weeks, all of a sudden it's like, what is that gorgeous smell? Now that I have a species Schilleriana and another one that is Schilleriana heavy, I know what that scent is. And if you know what it is, you know how amazing it is. And this one is now just coming on. It's been open for about 2.5 weeks. This is just opening. But again, a nice compact plant, easy to grow. This is a rebloom. Both of these are growing in sphagnum moss. Actually, only the Psychopsis is growing in bark so far. A beautiful plant. This sits on that same shelf with the darker maroon one, and it is kind of lit from above, and these glow. It's lovely. It is just lovely. And again, this is way too common for some orchid people to get excited about. What I'm excited about is making my beautiful home even more beautiful. And this does it. And for $15, it lasts forever and ever. So what a great find. I hemmed and hawed on this one because I had this idea of like, oh, do I really need another Phalaenopsis? As if I have very many. I didn't, but gosh, I'm so glad that I left the freezer section and got the last one of these. This one I'm way more excited about. This is an Oncosteolopsis, Brazilian Sun Samba. And what makes me so excited about this one is, well, one, I mean, look at how beautiful it is. And these lovely fall flower colors. You saw this on the channel maybe when it just had a couple of flowers open or a few. And then I snuck it in the background in an orchid display in a recent video. One of you caught that, my little orchid display. But this one, some people note a light fragrance. The place I bought this from, orchidweb.com, they noted no fragrance. And I will tell you, mine is strongly fragrant of a really light, sweet honey. And it is amazing. So another fantastic find. Easy to grow. These are all going to be, well, easy to grow. Easy for me to grow. It's growing in sphagnum moss right now in a plastic pot. When I repot it, I will put it in some form of clay. And I do that because it is a very predictable rate of drying out. One of the kind of unsung things and untalked about things of growing in sphagnum moss is you can let it go hydrophobic, water the roots of the plant, and this is an epiphyte. They are very good at grabbing on whatever moisture comes down the pike. This is what they have evolved to do. You can water that hydrophobic moss, it'll go through, water the roots, and not really wet the moss, because if you read a negative side of sphagnum moss from people who clearly don't grow in it at all, at least not successfully, is that sphagnum moss holds way too much water. Well, that depends, doesn't it? I control the watering can, so if I want to give a plant a very light watering, sphagnum moss is a sponge and it will distribute that water evenly or not. I can just pour it through. So it gives me a great deal of flexibility here in my house. And I heard Stephen Van Campen Lewis, he's got a YouTube channel. He's an orchid grower, long time orchid grower in Texas. He's a judge, grows amazing plants, award-winning plants. And he said it better than I have said it. I pot every plant like it's going to be 100 degrees every single day, and then he adjusts for the rest of the year. While I pot every plant like it's going to be the coldest weather and the furnace is going to crap out. So growing in sphagnum moss means I have a very predictable rate of evaporation in every season, depending on how I water it. So I've had questions on why I grow in sphagnum moss. That is why I grow in sphagnum moss. Love it. And then just very briefly, I showed this on the channel last year, or maybe early this year, I'm not sure. This was another Lowe's find. I got this the day after the presidential election, perhaps a little shopping therapy. And I just love it. I loved it so much when I bought it. I loved it when I showed it on the channel. I loved it when I showed it on the channel again, and I love it just as much now. Just getting going. It's one inflorescence this year instead of two, but it's got a whole lot of branches. It's got a long way to go before this is fully in flower. And I broke one little branch off and scotch taped it, and it seems to be doing okay. We'll see if it actually flowers, but the buds didn't drop off. So at any rate, just another inexpensive plant that I love. Brings a lot of joy and beauty to my house. The joy's me. The house is indifferent to the flowers. It brings a lot of beauty though. This is not my day. The video card didn't save any of the last segment of this video, and it's getting darker by the moment, so dang it. Maybe a little different reframing. The flowers might not be as vibrant, but we're gonna get through a few more because I've got one that is a mouthful. This is a Rhyncholaelia cattleya Pamela Ann Oliveras. And a friend gave me a gift card to orchidweb.com for my birthday this year, which was back in February. Oh God, it's coming up again. And I bought this one, and it is now flowering. Some people maybe don't like these kind of big blousy flowers. I've heard them described that way. I love them. I love the big fluffy flowers. I love the subtle colors of this and that beautiful lip. But one of the great things about this plant is the classic Cattleya scent, and there is nothing like it in this world. It is so fantastic. Ooh, there's a better shot. It is just fantastic. It is, when I went to the orchid show, they had dozens and dozens and dozens of Cattleya orchids in flower, and the room just smelled absolutely amazing. So, what a lovely plant. Thank you, Kimberly, for giving me that wonderful gift certificate, and here is our gorgeous plant. This one is my first and only Paphia petalum, and I have just been sending pictures of this one around with the title, Greetings, Earthling. What a really neat plant, and look at the hair on those petals. Isn't that interesting? And green. I also got this at the orchid show recently, and I love it. This is one of the green plants I saw, and it has very pretty foliage. This plant grows in very low light. So I know it's often said that no plant thrives in low light, they just die more slowly. There are lots of orchids that not only do very well in low light, they demand it. So this is one of them. And it's getting about 45 ppfd for those of you who use that measurement. It's very low light. I keep this plant just to the left of me on a table by the couch, and I have a dimmable Soltech light. So on that little table, I can keep medium highlight plants and low just by dimming it and adjusting the elevation and distance from the bulb. So it's a really good system. I'm doing a couple lighting videos coming up, so I'll save images for that, but just wanted to show the albiform of this. It also comes in a wine-colored plant, also very beautiful. I debated, but I went with this one. Gorgeous. I showed my Brassicatlia Moi pretty recently, so I won't talk too much about this. Another green flowered plant, the one that really kind of got me going on green. I love it. I looked this up, I paid $7.99 for it last October. This has been in flower for 2 solid months. It has light fragrance. I can't stop shaking the plant all day long, all day, night long. It is a moth-pollinated orchid, so it has its strongest scent at night, but night starts in the later afternoon and goes through mid-morning, and it is a powerfully scented fragrance. It is much more so than the species Brassavola nodosa. So a lovely plant, cheap, easy to grow, That is the secret of my success. Cheap and easy. No. Buying plants that are easy to grow within my conditions. So at any rate, just wanted to show this one real quick because I am absolutely enamored with it. 2 months on that flower. And this is an unnamed hybrid. Same family. It comes out brassy colored. Maybe I have a picture of that. You'll be looking at it right now if I do. And then it, usually you say fades too, but it amps up to this big bird. No fragrance on this one, unfortunately. Oh, and by the way, that floofy Cattleya came out very, very pale. And then as time goes on, this is very common in orchids, the color intensifies. And I'll end with one that changed colors to the better also, in my opinion. But at any rate, I love a yellow flower, and this one fits the bill. It did lose some of its prominent spotting, but that's okay. This is a true miniature Dendrobium. This is a cross between Hot Pink and its sibling, the King. And I am trying to get the nickname, the Hot Pink King, going around here for me, but so far, I don't know, I need like a petition or some sort of campaign in the comments section for my wife. These flowers last for, in good culture or conditions, 4 months. The new flowers haven't done a whole lot yet, and I'm like really happy about that, because that means the longer that takes, the more I get to enjoy these, and then when they're gone, I'll have, you know, up to 4 months with those. So I'm really excited. It lost one leaf. It was kind of on its way out when I got it, but that's okay. We've got this new growth that's doing really well. The sphagnum moss moat is working perfectly, and we've got a really great looking plant. I'm so happy that I found this one. Another Dendrobium. This one doesn't even look like an orchid. It looks like a pansy. Really pretty. There are 3 flowers here, but only one is completely open. Now, I was corrected by someone in Australia, where this is native to, in the comments section on the pronunciation. I pronounced it Bigabum. I prefer my funnier pronunciation, but apparently it's Bigabem. That's not funny. That's just, frankly, it's kind of lame. Now, this is a warm and humid growing plant, which is a bad choice for me. The other one's warm growing too, but this one apparently really likes it. It was a tough adjustment period for this one, and it lost some leaves, but it's doing quite a lot better. And I'm gonna put it on a heating mat with some other plants, but I really like this. And if you like miniature flowers, you can't do a lot better than that, can you? Could hold it still better maybe, but the flower's cute. And then we'll bring it home with a weirdo Dendrobium. This is another unnamed cross. And it's the one that kind of shape-shifted colors. It was pretty brown when I showed this on the channel from that haul. And very few people saw that video, as I said, so this will probably be your first time seeing it if you're watching this video, and not that one. But cool corkscrew flowers. And it is much more maroon and purple now instead of the brown and tan, although it still does have a little bit of beige in there. So it's got 2 inflorescence out of this one cane, and they do reflower out of these canes. It was putting on 1 new growth, and now it's putting on another new growth grown in bark, the mix that it came in, and I love it. Very, very cool. Now, the smell. It is modestly fragrant, moderately, I think. It's not modest at all. It's moderately fragrant. I'm not going to call it like bad, like pitch, like tar and perfume. Does that sound bad? I smell it all the time. It can't be that bad. It's either not that bad or I'm that weird. It's not that bad. It's odd though. It is certainly odd. But what a cool flower. I really like this one. Can't wait until it has 3, 4, 5 inflorescences. I mean, this is that was a good buy, and it wasn't terribly expensive either. Anyway, that's today's flower show. I will see you in the next one again real soon, okay? Bye-bye.